Hello and welcome to this Rivemont MicroCap strategy monthly update for November 2022. My name is Matthew Martin and I'm a portfolio manager at Rivemont. Before we begin, I must mention that this presentation is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations or investment advice. And if I talk about companies during the presentation, Rivemont may hold positions in these companies and may trade on them at any time without prior notice. So as usual, we'll start with a snapshot of the Rivemont MicroCap fund as of the end of November 2022. The fund had 11 millions of assets under management, which is similar to last month. The annualized return since inception was 4.8%. So it was a pretty flat month for November, not a lot of movement in the portfolio. In terms of portfolio positions, we ended the month at 22. It's down 1 from the previous month, and the concentration in the top 5 holdings was pretty consistent at 52%. So in terms of investment strategy, the main thing that happened in November was the Q3 earnings season. So most of our portfolio companies were set to release their financial results during the month, and overall I would say it was a pretty good earnings season for our portfolio. I won't get into the details of every company because we own 22 of them, but at a general level we were very pleased with the performance of our companies and the progress that is being made. There was one main exception. One small position reported results that were significantly below our expectations, and it was a company that actually we only owned a very small position, and we were trying to build conviction over time to increase to a full position eventually, but these results unfortunately were very disappointing, and we decided to sell the position after the results. For the rest of the companies, a lot of them are executing very well, and the market remains very challenging even for companies that are beating expectations. And to illustrate that point a little bit more, I will give you a quick case study on a company that is called Sabio Holdings, a company that we own in the Rivemont MicroCap fund. We invested in this company when it went public about a year ago. So there was a financing that was tied to their going public transaction that was closed in the middle of the year in 2021. And at the time, the financial information that we had was that the company had 13 millions of revenue in its prior fiscal year in 2020. And the management team provided some forecasts for investors, and their forecasts were that they would achieve 19.5 million of revenue in the following year in 2021, and then 27 million in 2022. So now, fast forward to today, the results actually for 2021 were 24.2 million, so significantly above management's forecast. And for this year, after 3 quarters, we think they are on track to reach about 40 million for the year. So again, significantly beating expectations and their own forecast internally. Yet the stock is down about 50% from the price we paid when they went public. So what happened? The company was trading at a higher revenue multiple at the time, but unfortunately, even though they almost tripled their revenues and they did that while staying profitable, unfortunately the multiple of revenue contracted significantly, and it's now trading at less than 1 time its revenue. Given the multiple contraction, the stock is down significantly, but the business has progressed a lot. They almost tripled their revenues in 2 years, and we think it's unjustified that such a company would trade at less than 1 time its revenue. So over time, we think that the revenue multiple should expand again, And when that happens, you get the perfect recipe for outstanding returns. A company that is growing very fast, and also a valuation multiple that is expanding. So that's how in the past we've been able to get return of several times our invested capital in 1, 2, 3 years. It's when we get a setup like that. And this is not the only opportunity in our portfolio that is similar. There are many other companies that we own that are also executing very well and are trading at very depressed valuations that we think over time the market will have to recognize and reward us for. Now, in terms of outlook, one thing that I'm starting to see a lot more, it's been ongoing for several months, but especially in November, is that many weaker companies are starting to struggle, and it's increasingly difficult to raise capital. So I'm seeing more and more bankruptcies or restructurations, or companies selling some divisions or selling the whole business. And typically it's these are companies that have a weak balance sheet, that are not profitable, that maybe they have a business model that has not been proven yet. So it seems like there's a big cleanup going on in the microcap space right now, and I think it's a good thing that this is happening. It will weed out all the weak companies that maybe shouldn't be public or shouldn't exist at all. And when we return into a bull market eventually, I think the microcap sector will be on more solid footings and with higher quality companies overall, which I think will be good for investors and for the credibility of the microcap space as well. Finally, last thing I can mention is that we're now in December, and December typically is tax loss season. What I mean by that is some investors are looking to sell some of their losing stocks to offset some gains that they have recorded earlier in the year. This year is a bit particular because most stocks are down for the year, so there are not a lot of gains to offset, and investors that are looking to sell losing stocks have plenty of choice to do so. So I think the tax loss season this year will be less pronounced than in previous years, but still maybe we could see some aggressive selling in some of our positions that are down significantly for the year. And if it happens, we have some capital available, and we'll be looking to deploy it in if we can find some good bargains. So it's definitely something we will watch out for in December. So that's it for the monthly update for November 2022. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. You can also visit our website, rivemont.ca, to find more information on the microcap strategy, but also all of our other strategies as well. And I would like to wish you a great holiday season, and I will talk to you again in the new year. Thank you.